Now 60 years is over for the non-involvement narrative education system. I am telling you, future is Gurukul system. The future of education is where the teachers and students live together in one place. If needed, let the parents also stay there. But because basically kids do what you do, they won't do what you say. Understand? They do what you do. They won't do what you say. Whatever you do, simply they will do. They will never do what you say. Most of the time, they don't care for what you say. The future of the Indian education system, I can say, the future of any intelligent education system will be Gurukul system. I am not talking out of pride or arrogance. I am talking seeing the future. I am telling you, I will be leading this revival in the education system through our Gurukul system. Through our Gurukul system. It is going to be the Gurukuls. In Indian education system, complete involvement is required from the side of the teacher and the student. Student need to study the teacher. Teacher need to study the student. Understand? After thoroughly studying the student, teacher identifies the right subject in which the student will be successful. Few things are basic for everyone, like science of completion and enlightenment. Other than the science of enlightenment, all other things, master selects the subject in which the student will be successful. And then student is trained specifically in those fields with the knowledge of enlightenment, with the science of enlightenment, with the truth of enlightenment as the context. Even if you learn the archery, enlightenment is the context. If you study administration, enlightenment is the context. If you learn about business, enlightenment is the context. If you learn plumbing, building houses, sculpting, enlightenment is the context. Indian education system is more of a transmission of the knowledge, not transfer of knowledge. It is not just information based. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Pitas all over the world. All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystems. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. Spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together. We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support. And we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life.
manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become e-Kailasian.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
E-Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. E-Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment science. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed. So this absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word e-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is E-Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not but by evolution.
Welcome back. And as we were seeing, the important pillar of Gurukul in the 5 pillars of Kailasa of Hinduism itself, today, education is known to be the key factor to enabling upwards socio-economic mobility and the strongest means of removing poverty. The right education is crucial to the well-being, stability, and growth of not only every child, but to humanity as a whole. The Gurukul system is known to be the knowledge transmission system of Hinduism, one of the pillars which kept Sanatana Hindu Dharma alive and standing as the world's most ancient living civilization. Through Kailasa's Department of Education, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, the Gurukul system is actually being revived in its entirety through Kailasa. What is really Gurukul? What does it literally mean? It actually means living in the Guru's home. The Gurukul system is rooted in the Guru Shishya Sampradaya, or the living lineage of the Guru-disciple relationship. After decades of study on the physical, chemical, biological uniqueness of the meditative states and enlightened beings, it has been found that in the normal waking state alone, their brainwaves show that they are in a complete meditative state despite being fully active and engaged. In the world of athletics, this state is actually known as the being in the zone, a glimpse into the peak of focus, cognitive function, attention, and coordination, to name a few. Rather than a glimpse, enlightened beings casually walk, talk, and engage with life settled in this very peak. Recent studies have also found that we imbibe the body language, behaviors, and patterns of those in our environment, not just on the behavioral level, but to the depths of the neurological layer. This is also known as the mirror neuron effect. In this way, there is no better teacher than the enlightened Guru, who, as per modern science, exists as a superconscious, biological, reproducible anomaly. However, through centuries of Mughal invasions, colonialism, and continued persecution against Hinduism and Hindu tradition, this science of knowledge transmission has been diminishing at an unprecedented rate. After careful study in the colonialism era, it was found that the Gurukul system was standing as a backbone and stability of the Hindu civilization. The Macaulay education system was imposed in India after this revelation and discovery. One can see here 13,000 universities across Bharat, 2 lakh Gurukuls were destroyed in Bengal and Bihar alone through these invasions that have plagued India for the last few millennia itself. With the systematic destruction of Hindu universities and Gurukuls goes also more than 80% of Hinduism's indigenous knowledge. One can see the despicable attitude of Thomas Macaulay, who was one almost singularly responsible for the sinister conspiracy of destroying the whole Gurukul system of education and the cunning, cheap way in which this was planned. It is evident in the letter he has written. Our English schools are flourishing wonderfully. He's talking about the state of India during the colonial rule. The effect of this education on the Hindus is prodigious. No Hindu who has received an English education ever continues to be sincerely attached to his religion. The Hindu religion is so extravagantly absurd that it is impossible to teach a boy astronomy, geography, natural history without completely destroying the hold which that religion has on his mind. It is my firm belief that if our plans of education are followed up, there will not be a single idolater among the respectable classes in Bengal 30 years hence. And this will be effected without any efforts to proselytize, without the smallest interference with religious liberty, merely by the natural operation of knowledge and reflection. I heartily rejoice in this prospect. One should note here specifically the reference to Bengal because it is literally the cultural capital of the country. The whole seed, the bed of knowledge, being centered among a few places, a central one being in Bengal, and how the whole colonial attitude of destroying the education system from its very roots with this sinister conspiracy. Nithyananda Gurukul, Kailasa's Nithyananda Gurukul, is a valiant attempt to revive the Gurukul system of education in all its glory and tradition. One can see here the blissful faces of the Balasans or the child saints of the Nithyananda Gurukul directly getting trained by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam. 2nd October 2006 was the historic day on which the Nithyananda Gurukul was inaugurated in Adi Kailasa in Bidadi. And that's the first batch of students who enrolled in the Nithyananda Gurukul. And the students of the Nithyananda Gurukul practicing yoga and meditation under the Kalpavriksha, the sacred banyan tree in Adi Kailasa. 50% of the Gurukul Balasans, the child saints, study 1 to 3 years ahead of their age group is what the statistics indicate, scoring in the top 10 to 20% of Mensa at the age 14. Now that's an enviable record to speak of, because as anyone who has attempted Mensa quizzes, not even the whole competition, one can really understand the level of intuitive intelligence the children, the students of the Nithyananda Gurukul are exhibiting if they can come in the top 10 to 20% of Mensa at the young age of just about 14. The Gurukul Balasans, you can see here learning standard academics along with the indigenous Hindu scriptures. That's the system of education in Kailasa's Nithyananda Gurukul. The Gurukul Balasans practicing the Shivastambha Yoga to build a yogic body, strong nervous system, and all this under the guidance of trained Shivastambha Yoga Acharyas. 20th May 2018, the Gurukul Balasan demonstrating the ability to perform Kundalini Rajju Yoga, or the rope yoga, and that too with blindfold, clearly indicating that the whole achievement of the Nithyananda Gurukul Balasans is not only a yogic body, but also power manifestation coupled with yogic fiats. Dhanur Vidya, the science of archery, and who would not like to be in the position of this Balasan, who, as you can see, blissfully being trained directly by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam. The once lost science of Dhanur Vidya, which is not just the science of archery as we understand it, it is a lot more than that, because it teaches one how to be focused, and it directly trains one's consciousness towards the ultimate. That's exactly what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, not only through his teaching of the science, but literally transmitting his own biomemory into the Balasans of the Nithyananda Gurukul, so that they are established in the state, space, being, and superconsciousness of Paramashiva. 30% of the Gurukul Balasans demonstrating the capacity to spontaneously play musical instruments without any formal training. All this is the result of the powerful Kundalini awakening by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in these Balasans well before their physical maturity, thus preparing their bodies and minds to experience the quantum leap into superconsciousness and to be established in the state, space, and being of Paramashiva. The Balasans living the Agama Shastra-based lifestyle, the Balasans demonstrating the ability to read blindfolded, which is one of the 420 Shaktis which Paramashiva himself reveals. All these Shaktis, the Balasans are initiated into just with the one touch of just one initiation of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The Gurukul Balasans participating in the Vakyartha Sadas, or loosely translated as debate, when they are internalizing the supreme truths, the ultimate truths revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and all those cosmic truths after experiencing, after living them, experimenting with them, sharing their learnings, their experiences. That is what Vakyartha Sadas is all about. The Balasans of the Nithyananda Raja Gurukul addressing at such a young age the Kailasian delegates, and the Balasans of the Nithyananda Raja Gurukul after successfully hosting the worldwide webinar on the highlights and science of the Nithyananda Gurukul. And one can see here the impact of the Gurukul in, to put it very succinctly, whole brain learning, stress-free living, zero teen violence or aggression, quantum memory activation, recalling verbatim after a single hearing, which is called the Shakti of Ekasanta Grahi. And Kailasa's Nithyananda Hindu University, which is the world's largest Hindu university established around the globe, having 450 plus campuses in 150 plus countries, available to the public from as early as 2003. Reviving and presenting the world's most ancient lost knowledge in a user-friendly way, where the ancient truths are taught in a way directly applicable for the modern man's personal, practical, and professional life. 20 million enrollments and still counting, over 7,000 courses already available, and delegates and teachers from over 50 countries directly contributing to Nithyananda Hindu University. And having said this, the whole Nithyananda Gurukul is all about reviving the spiritual enlightenment ecosystem as existed pristinely in the Vedic ages. So if one wants to experience more, try out the Nithyananda Gurukul. One can enroll. First, we can enroll as of today in the COVID care protection centers. We have a lot of the COVID care protection center participants bringing their families, their children, and needless to say, every single child who has come for the COVID care center is, all they have on their lips is their one ask, please, asking their parents, please enroll me in the Nithyananda Gurukul. And for parents, we all know what the Gurukul education can do to your child, as one saw, not only living a blissful, stress-free life, but becoming leaders, natural leaders, awakening your child's Kundalini energy much before the physical maturity, and therefore being receptive to enlightenment at a very tender age. If you really want your child to flower to the ultimate, this is the ultimate place to be in. So with this, we'll conclude this segment of the Adi Kailasa ship. Thank you. And let's wait for the next segment. In the next few minutes, let's take a short break. Thank you. Nithyanandam.
Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being, Parashakti. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Shiva will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else. Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive, somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being, Parashakti. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Shiva will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else. Just be alive.
And setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Pitas all over the world. All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects.
You? We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become Kailasians.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Nithyananda. And welcome to this segment where we will go over in observance of and in recognition of this whole month of July being the awareness of persecution month. Yes, the world is finally waking up to even the persecution of Hinduism, Hindus, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Kailasa, as one saw. The United Nations recognizing the persecution done to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and to Kailasa. This, after centuries, or probably for the first time, is an international recognition and awareness even that Hindus are the subjects of persecution, not just for decades or for centuries, literally for millennia, where every Hindu, without exception, has gone through, be it man, woman, child, be it any tribe, any sect, every single Hindu has experienced the persecution in his or her daily life over the decades, over the centuries in various forms, some highly gross, some very sophisticated and sinister. We were seeing just a few hours back about the science of persecution and how after World War I and II, it required the crimes against humanity to be justified, unlike centuries ago, like in the 1300s or the 1600s, be it the Mughal invaders or the colonial invaders. When the persecution was done very blatantly, human rights were violated very blatantly. Crimes against humanity were committed with a lot of impudence because there was nobody to question. After the First World War and the Second World War, things changed where one had to justify the crimes, wars, etc. As humanity globally civilized and democratic systems evolved, law and order and regulations were set in place, the need to justify the acts of violence was required to keep the society pacified, while the anti-humanity forces continued to execute. In World War I, the assassination of the prince was used as an open trigger to incite a huge war. A simple trigger or justification was no more sufficient, though, after World War I. A very complex propaganda machinery was required to incite the society to support the acts of violence. In World War II, that was the whole science changed to having racist ideologies of racial supremacy, and that was used as a justification for extermination of the entire Jewish population. And in the following years, the whole methodology became highly sophisticated, allowing the silent persecution of the entire population or the entire community or leader in such a way that literally no social, legal, or humanitarian questioning or backlash would happen. So, for example, one can see here, call a dog a mad dog, and even if you kill it, people will only thank you. This is literally the strategy that was used and continues to be used in very many ways, as one can see in the further slides. Hindu Holocaust. This term itself got recognition only now when the United Nations recognized, after being explained in a lot of detail through the various documents, literature, statistics, news, studies, journals, etc., of the history of Hinduism over the past few centuries. The untold history where more than 500 million Hindus were killed, massacred, raped between 3200 BCE to 2007 CE. Just in this span of a few centuries, literally Hinduism was decimated from 56 kingdoms, which practically ruled the entire globe in a the most truest democratic fashion, with the most benevolent rulers, because the whole Hindu civilization was based on enlightenment. With enlightenment comes only the best of qualities, the most adorable qualities like love, care, compassion, and power manifestation being a way of life. And Hindu kingdoms decimated from that time from 56 to now 0, except for Kailasa, the only Hindu nation that exists as of today. The Hindu Holocaust involved multiple stages of genocide. It's the United States Department of State, the founding president of the Genocide Watch, Gregory Stanton, actually has described the entire study done on various genocide and how it is committed in various stages, 8 stages of the same being listed. And in this, if we map those 8 stages of genocide to the Hindu genocide, 7 stages of the Hindu genocide, actually one can see in gory detail. Most of the genocides, most of the civilizations that face this ethnocide and genocide have seen probably 1, maximum 3 stages being used, and they were exterminated. But in the case of Hinduism, 7 stages of Hindu genocide have been perpetrated across the ages on various segments of the population at various times. And how this was done, how it was systematically engineered, let us see. To recap what we saw in the morning. Stage 1, segregation or isolation. This may sound, the whole sinisterness in this whole thing is, it is presented as a very natural happening so that the common man does not even question what is being fed to him. But it is actually a very planned attack, a very sinister attack. For example, if one sees from 1000 CE to 1600 CE, that's 600 years, was a time when barbaric terrorist tribes, the barbaric invaders, the uncivilized tribes, Mughals invaded. And for them to justify the killing any Hindu was simple as calling them just a kafir, meaning infidel, uncouth, barbaric invaders, the levels in which they were in. However, in that era, it was enough. Just call the person a kafir, and if you are not able to convert him, kill him. And society actually thanked you for that, because any voice of dissent was just eliminated, was just stifled. Call a dog a mad dog and kill it, people will only thank you. In those times, calling a person a kafir, a non-believer, was equivalent to calling a dog a mad dog. But now, in the more so-called advanced times, when civilization, when planet Earth has become so-called more civilized, the sophistication of the genocide and the justification of the crimes has obviously increased. So the first stage of the genocide, especially when it is being committed on Hinduism, if one unravels the science behind it, one can see the first thing that is done is isolating the victim of the genocide. Basically, act of isolating from the human family to make the victim very vulnerable, and he's so easy to persecute. So one can see way back a few centuries ago, when the kafir was used as the way of segregating or isolating, that was done on the basis of religious identity. So it's Hinduism versus Islam. So religious identity was used to isolate the victims, in this case, the Hindus. And that was used to commit even this kind of horrific crimes, as one can see pictorially over here, where women, where mothers, the Hindu mothers were forced to go through such inhuman torture as having to wear a garland of the skulls of the heads of their own children who were beheaded right before them. And the wives of the Hindu men having to ascend the funeral pyre along with them, because if they would not do so, they would not only be violently, brutally, horrifically raped, but even it went to the extent that if they somehow managed to escape this brutal violation of their bodies, the invaders would go to the extent of raping their dead bodies even. And the men folk subjected to such horrific crimes, like literally their bodies being pinched with pincers and their bodies subjected to gross torture. The same thing experienced in modern history by Kashmiri Shaivites. So we saw in the morning how this isolation, the various stages of the genocide, from isolation, segregation, and the justification propaganda that has been used over the years in various stages, depending on how resilient that civilization was. So that was to recap the importance of understanding the stages of genocide, because only if one understands the science of this persecution, one can even understand the gravity of the seriousness that we are facing today, because this has not ended. It is still continuing, and the only way we can awaken to that is to understand how the science functions. So let us jump right now to the next stage of the persecution, of the science of persecution, the stage number 5. We went over the 4 stages of the science of persecution, and now we'll right away jump into the next layers of this science. So let's take a short break, and then we will jump right into the next layers of the science of persecution.
proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have illusionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment time. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed. So this absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself.
Back dear viewers. Continuing on the fifth stage of the 7 stages of the genocide. So the fifth stage of the genocide is silent assassination. Actually, this month we are observing the Hindu Holocaust month, awareness on the Hindu Holocaust. And as a part of that, we are sharing with all of you how systematically this whole genocide and the Holocaust on Hinduism is a science. So we had Manati Achalananda Swami summarize the first 4 stages of the persecution. And now we are in the 5th stage of the persecution, which is silent assassinations. Carrying out assassinations using silent means like anonymous mob, so that no one may be blamed and it may be conveniently dismissed as an accident, a natural occurrence, or a suicide. Let's see some examples of silent assassinations. Over 200 million Hindus were killed for being Hindus. They were massacred in a war or a terrorist attack. Over 200 million Hindus starved to death by man-made famines. Their assassination was silenced by categorizing them as war casualty. Anti-Hindu historians dismiss their death, claiming that wars by nature have casualty. Atrocity literature writers hide the true history. It is not war casualty, but it is a systematic planned attack on Hindus. On the 7th of November 1966, 5,000 Hindu sadhus were killed in a police action. The official numbers reported range is from just 8 to 375. On the 30th of April 1982, 16 male and 1 female sannyasi of Anandamarg were pulled out of a cab and burnt alive near a bridge in a broad daylight. More than 30 crore were spent by the government on various court trials and tribunals. The end result? No justice. And even today, this silent assassination is being used as a weapon to carry out assassinations against Hindu gurus, Hindu leaders, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been a victim of more than 100 assassination attempts. While the Supreme Pontiff, since the year 2002, since the public life started, he has been a consistent target of the anti-Hindu elements, knowing that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the only hope for Hinduism and the last hope for Hinduism. So assassinating Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism would mean an end to the greatest signs of enlightenment. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving through Kailasa. So you can see the silent assassination, mob lynching, carrying out assassinations using silent means like anonymous mob, so that no one may be blamed and it may be conveniently dismissed as an accident, a natural occurrence, or suicide. And on the 20th of April, Maharaj Kalpavriksha was assassinated by mob lynching. If it was not recorded on camera, it would have remained as a silent murder. On the 24th of November, the disciple of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Parameshwaram, Sri Nithyananda Priyananda, was burnt alive. There was an assassination attempt in the Tondai Mandala Adinam. And on the 3rd of March, the police support the mob lynchers in a murder attempt where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was burnt inside his own residence, being locked into his residence, and the whole residence was burned, and this was live telecasted on the national television channel. To that extent, the silent assassinations happened. Then the next stage of the persecution is relentless persecution. Now repeat the mass attempts to kill until the entire community is exterminated and no evidence of crime remains, which means no one is available to even tell the truth. Some of the examples of relentless persecution on Hindus. Here you can see the Bengal famine, a man-made famine, the Bengal famine, which killed millions of Hindus, and did not allow anyone to even be alive, even to share the story. It's one of the horrific crimes done on humanity. And this relentless persecution continues even till today, with the entire community of His Divine Holiness being attacked during the 2010 persecution. All the Kailasas all over India were attacked on the same day, like just in a few days, in the same week, I should say, since the 3rd of March 2010, simultaneously, the anti-Hindu elements attacked hundreds of Kailasas, temples, adinams, monasteries, Sarvanyapitas, gurukuls, satsang centers, padaka mandirs, home temples were attacked relentlessly until they were closed or forced to shut down. People were forced to be displaced. So much happened, and this relentless attack and the relentless persecution is used as one of the powerful weapons to attack Sanatana Hindu Dharma. And the relentless persecution, they try to exterminate. Actually, they try to eliminate the entire community, so that nobody is even alive or nobody is even following this particular, following the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, or would continue to remain as Kailaya-vasis. This was their plan. So here you can see multiple rapid assassination attempts just in a span of about 48 days. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism went through more than 40 assassination attempts. So the whole idea is to continuously attack. There were multiple poisons to kill and poison Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. We have proofs to show that the entire body of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was poisoned when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was in illegal custody, and a huge amount of lead content was discovered in Supreme Pontiff's body, which is a slow poison, which leads to the death of the person, but without having any suspicion on who was the one who actually induced and poisoned Supreme Pontiff's body. All these are used as attack and assassination tactics against Hindu leaders and Hindu gurus. Here you can see the 2012 mob lynching, where in the group there are like a huge amount of like few hundred policemen, 600 battalion policemen was gathered just to arrest the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And in that stampede, here you can see one person actually grabbing and trying to kill the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism by grabbing his neck. And here you can see the picture, but you will never be able to identify this in a crowd, because all this happened so suddenly. Thanks to the video footage, we were able to get the video evidence of this police officer trying to strangle the neck of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Here you can actually see the clip, how as a Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is coming out, the entire 600 battalion police is gathered outside, and as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is coming outside the court, he is being strangulated by the police officer. And the relentless persecution continues with the torture, genital mutilation, and a deep-rooted pain that the avataric body of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was subjected to go through. You can see a face which never lost its smile. Even to that being, how the anti-Hindu elements made the physical body go through tremendous pain. Even at the time of compound fracture on the right arm, with multiple bones being, crushed into different pieces because of the fall from the horse, the Supreme Pontiff did not even feel an ounce of pain. So to that kind of a yogic physiology, they have completely destroyed the body to an extent where you can actually see the pain on the face of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So much of torture, genital mutilation under the name of the illegal medical test that happened on the Supreme Pontiff. The attack continues not just on the Supreme Pontiff, but on the entire nation itself, and on all the Kailaya-vasis and on the entire nation Kailasa. Here you can see the Kailasa-vasis, the residents of the monastery. Here on the left side, a huge stone was actually smashed on the head of the administrator of the monastery, and he was bleeding, and he was not even allowed to be taken to the hospital. Such kind of brutal attacks. And on the right side, one of the Kailaya-vasi, one of the living monastic member in the Tondai Mandala Adinam in Kanchipuram, was burnt alive. And he suffered 70% burns on his body. His whole skin burned, and the first layer of his skin throughout the body to be, got burnt completely. Now the whole question is, why were the disciples, devotees, and the sannyasis attacked in this relentless persecution? So that nobody is alive even to tell the truth. So it is not just an attack on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, it is an attack on the entire enlightenment ecosystem. So that this whole revival that the Supreme Pontiff is doing, the revival of Kailasa, the revival of the enlightenment ecosystem, the revival of Kailasa and the revival of enlightenment ecosystem can be completely eliminated, can be completely stopped. Here you can see more attacks on the disciples of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, more attack on the members of Kailasa, more attack on members of the indigenous community. Women, children, men, adults, nobody gets spared. Attack on the female sannyasis. Relentless persecution and genocide continues. Here you can see in 2010, all the Kailasas in India were attacked. The first major attack within about 24 to 48 to 72 hours at the max. Pretty much every Kailasa all over India, whether it was a Gurukul or a Sarvanyapita or a temple or a monastery, was attacked. Completely destroyed. The deities were destroyed. Adinam was attacked. The people inside were forcibly displaced. So much of violence, burning of the monasteries. In 2012, protests and media attacks continued. The second major attack on the main headquarters of Kailasa in India. In 2013, the attack on the main headquarters continued. In 2014, attack in the Adinam in Bangalore, Uttarahalli Adinam. In 2014, a direct attack on the physical, assassination attempt on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And 2017 and 2017, two major enlightenment ecosystems in Tiruvannamalai and in Trishulam were attacked. In 2018, there was an attack on the Erode Adinam, and in 2019, there's an attack on the Yogini Sarvanyapita in Gujarat. Then the last and the final stage of the 7 stages of genocide is denial. See, after doing all these, silent assassination attempts and relentless persecution, not just on the leader, but on the entire community, the final stage is that denial and diverting the attention from the crimes of the persecution. Rewriting the persecution history. Denying and hiding the crimes of persecution and blaming the victims for their losses and deaths using the big lie. Here you can see 29 million, 3 crore people were starved to death to finance the wars of the colonial empire. And however, the whole persecution and the genocide of Hindus were completely denied by the Winston Churchill, who was the Prime Minister of British India at that time. He says, "I hate Indians. They are beastly people with a beastly religion. Their famine was their own fault for breeding like rabbits." One of the most prosperous civilizations with a GDP of a global GDP of more than 40%. And it was one of the most prosperous and most abundant economy that was there, was reduced to poster child of a third world country. And the worst part of it is this whole persecution is even denied. It's not even acknowledged, no reparation even to Hindus till today. And so much of denial of what was done to Hindus in India. Now, from 1933 to 1950, the famines in Bengal were continuing for decades. In spite of this, the colonial empire exported the grains to other countries where it was not even required, causing even more death in Bengal. Their Prime Minister denied it, claiming that Hindus deserved it because they bred like rabbits. No state education board Indian history book talks about the Hindu Holocaust. So today, the Hindus in India are completely aware what happened just 60 years back, 70 years back. Not just what happened in Bengal, but up to 3 million Hindus were killed, and genocidal rape of about 350,000 women. 10 million Hindus fled the country, 30 million became internally displaced. The Hindu population in Bangladesh, 1951 was 22.5%. In 2001, it's hardly 8.5%. Now, although so many people were killed and raped, this is purposely omitting this is being omitted from all the Indian history books. This topic is completely denied and not even discussed in any part of the world, neither as a war casualty or as a religious persecution. So again, reinforcing that the seventh stage of the persecution is to deny that the persecution happened in the first place. From 1990 to 2018, for a long time until recently, the suffering of the persecuted Kashmiri Hindus were ignored and their human rights were denied. The Indian media mafia repeatedly suppressed the atrocities done on Hindus by purposely not giving the coverage. On 14th of June 2012, the state, on the Chief Minister's order, mobilized a 600 battalion paramilitary force and fueled in rupees 3 crore, $500,000 for the unlawful body arrest and the parade of His Divine Holiness. The High Court termed the entire exercise as illegal and an abuse of power. The state and the media always denied the persecution they executed. Denial and diverting the attention from the crimes of the persecution. So just to deny what the persecution, the religious persecution that has been done on the Supreme Court of Hinduism, continues the media abuse, the hate speech continues in the media, just to divert the attention from all the illegal activities and the religious persecution that the Supreme Court of Hinduism is forced to undergo. Denial and diverting the attention from the crimes of the persecution by continuous hate speech in the media. And as a part of the Hindu Genocide and Hindu Holocaust Awareness Month, we need to understand genocide, though it is made to look as an accident, is not an accident. There is a science behind it, and anybody can be targeted. So, as a part of the Hindu Awareness Month, we share with you what are the 7 stages of persecution and how these 7 stages of persecution are being used to attack the Hindu leaders. And we really request each and every one of you to come and share. What do you think about these 7 stages of persecution as you are hearing this? And especially in the Hindu Holocaust Awareness Month that Kailasa is observing in July 2021 as a part of the Hindu Holocaust Awareness Month, we are sharing with you how systematically Hindus have been attacked and persecuted. Over 500 million Hindus have been killed, raped, massacred in the last 1,000 years of relentless persecution on Hindus. The worst part is we are even denied to know the facts of what happened to our ancestors. That is the worst part. And Kailasa is taking the collective responsibility by bringing out this information to all of you, by sharing with you about the information about the Hindu Holocaust. So we request each and every one of you to share in the YouTube live comments what is it that you feel about when you are hearing about the Hindu Holocaust, and we are going to be right back with you after a short break.
Wherever you are, if you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is E-Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystem, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world.
All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth.
Welcome back, dear viewers. So it's time for us to get ready for the live Nithyananda Satsang by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, followed by Devi Parashakti Akashik Readings. So today we are going to have everything. We have the live Satsang and we have Devi Parashakti blessing us in Devi Parashakti Akashik Readings, which will be following immediately after the live Satsang. So we request all of you, even when the Satsang ends, please stay tuned because we are going to be having the Devi Parashakti Akashik Readings starting immediately after the darshan. So for all of us who are eagerly waiting to have the darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and eagerly waiting to hear what Devi Parashakti is going to reveal to the world today. If you would like to offer your support, your dakshina, your support to Kailasa, or your dakshina at the divine lotus feet of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, you can just go to the YouTube live stream, and on the right side, you will see a live chat option. And you will see a dollar symbol on the bottom. So you can click the dollar symbol and you can click join if you have not yet a member of the channel. During the Devi Parashakti Akashik Readings, only the members of this channel will be able to ask questions in YouTube Live. All others will be able to ask questions in 5 other platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, and the website live chat. So we have 6 platforms open for all of us to access, and the YouTube alone is restricted to the members of the official channel. So the offering that we have, if you would like to make any kind of a contribution and support Kailasa, or if you want to make an offering out of gratitude at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swamiji, all you need to do is click on the dollar symbol and you will see a pop-up and you have to click on super chat. Now, as you click on super chat, you will have this dialog box open, a window open on the right side where you can enter any message that you would like to share along with your offering, and you will also have the amount. You can enter as minimum as probably even just $1. right? The most important fact here is that having that space of gratitude. Thank you, Swamiji, for happening in our lives every single day and blessing us with the darshans and the dikshas and the initiations and Devi Parashakti Akashik Readings, just out of gratitude. So Swamiji beautifully said, Smaranat Mukti. So just remembrance liberates. So the more and more you remember that space of gratitude, you make an offering. It can even be $1 you contribute whenever you come for one live satsang or whenever you come for a live darshan, just $1 you contribute. The amount doesn't matter, but the context from which we are offering, that space of gratitude matters. So that is why we should have it as a habit and a lifestyle, that whenever you go to a temple, we always put some offering, just remembering and thanking the divine and for supporting that ecosystem. Just like that, this is an online contribution that you are doing to keep the Kailasa ecosystem alive and to offer your gratitude and the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swamiji. So whoever would like to participate, you can go ahead and click on the super chat, enter any amount that you would like to offer. It can even be as less as probably just $1. You can even offer just $1 and you can click on buy and send. As you click on buy and send, you will see a pop-up that opens where you can enter your credit card, debit card details, your PayPal details, and you can go ahead and make the contribution. So now it's time for us to enter into the meditation to receive the darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Please sit straight and close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your breathing. Inhale, exhale as slowly as possible and as deeply as possible. Intensely chant the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoha. Intensely chant the Mahavakya as we connect to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and get ready to receive the live darshan. To be able to get into the space, receive the blessings, darshan, the grace of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasamidana, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Satsang. As we are preparing ourselves for the Guru Purnima celebrations later this month, just consciously cherish every moment that you, every powerful cognition that the Guru has manifested through you, every blessing that you have received, every boon that you have received, every moment where you have felt the presence of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in your life. Just relive all those moments. Remember each and every one of them, how Swamiji has made himself available. How life would have been without Swamiji. Just thinking about how life would have been without the Guru will make you feel a deep gratitude. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you for accepting me as yourself. Thank you for being there for us always. Let your entire being melt in that space of gratitude and the divine lotus feet of beloved Swamiji. Intensely chant the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoha. Continue to chant the Mahavakya. Nithyananda Parashakti Remember all the moments you have spent, you have experienced Supreme Concept of Hinduism. How all your life has changed since the time you came to know about the Supreme Concept of Hinduism. How you have evolved physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. All the changes that you have experienced in your life. Intensely chant the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivokam. Continue to chant the Mahavakya. Nithyananda Paramashivokam. Remember all the moments and with your group, all the changes that you have experienced in yourself.